Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Olivia and this is my channel where I love to talk about all things nail polish, especially toppers and especially magnetics. So today we're doing both. Magnetic toppers, woo. I have for the past couple months been doing a number of videos on my favorite different types of toppers. So I think I started with glitter toppers, did shimmer toppers, I just finished up doing flake toppers, and now we have come to my favorite magnetic toppers. And just like I did with the fancy gloss shimmer video, I realized that I had so many of those that were just fancy gloss by themselves that I needed to do an entirely separate video for just those. In this case, you may have noticed that the title of this video has a part 1 in it, and that's because I have so today's video is going to focus on the fancy gloss magnetic toppers that are more of just like the light blue magnetic topper, the green magnetic topper, so on. Completely separate from this, I also have some magnetic toppers from Fancy Gloss that are more of their fine magnetic particle toppers, the ones that tend to have the word pull in the title of them, or in the name of them. So like what are they called? I think like celestial pull, astral pull. I might just be pulling these out of nowhere, get it? But yeah, I've got 6 magnetic toppers that we're covering just today, so that can kind of give you a sense as to why I'm splitting these into a part 1, and then later on I'll be doing a part 2. So that's kind of why we're here. Now, to tell you a little bit about how I've chosen to structure this video. If you've ever worked with magnetic toppers before, you're probably familiar with the concept of them sometimes not being the best to put over lighter colors because of how they can have more of like a not so fully clear background, and it looks like they've left a little bit of residue behind, that kind of thing. I will say, as I was preparing for this video, I definitely saw how that was not the case for every single one equally. So there are some of the magnetic toppers here where I'm like, you know what, you probably could get away with putting this over lighter color polishes, and others where I'm like, don't do it, just put it over darker ones. It'll be much better, trust me. So that's part of it. So as always, showing you the white black base split, like how does it look over each of those. Then I'm also going to show you how each of these looks in the velvet style briefly, but the main focus is going to be on how these magnetic toppers look when they're magnetized in the cat eye style. Mainly because that's how I personally prefer to wear these, and so because of that, that's what I think I can say the most about, particularly as I have found that these magnetic toppers are excellent to use with layering. So, you could say, you've got like some kind of solid base color, then you put a magnetic topper over it, and then boom, you're good to go. Or you could combine it with some other stuff like flake toppers. So in many cases, I want to show you how it looks where you are starting with a base color, putting flake topper over that, and then following that up with a magnetic topper. And there's some really cool effects you can do with that. And I really, one of the things I love about the videos that I make here on this channel is how I'm able to give you all different ideas for new things that you can do with the polishes that you already have. So what I hope that you're able to take away from this video, especially if you're on a low buy or a no buy, is to look at this and say like, hey, even if it's the case that you don't necessarily have these exact polishes from Fancy Gloss in your collection, let's say you do have like some kind of green magnetic polish that's from a different brand. Hopefully you can see some ideas in here of like, oh, you didn't think to combine a green magnetic polish with this kind of flake topper and this color base and so on. Also, if you happen to go to the Fancy Gloss website and see any of these out of stock, I believe that what Jackie, the maker of Fancy Gloss, has stated is the best way to indicate your interest in seeing them come back is to sign up for restock notifications. Like there's a button on the website for each listing. If it's out of stock, you can like say, hey, notify me when this comes back in stock. And I think also adding it to the wish list is another way to indicate your interest there. Let's see if there's anything else I want to cover. No, I think that's all. I've been saving this video for a day where I knew that I would be okay with needing to just kind of sit and chill a bit, because we're doing some magnetics today, so it's going to take me a little bit longer than usual to film these. But hey, it's Saturday. I'm feeling nice and cozy. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First, what exactly do I have on my nails today? This one that I have that I'm wearing is from Perky Polish, called Quills. It was a limited edition polish that I really hope they bring back again at some point, because it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, a couple things about this. One is that it is, as can be common with purple nail polishes that have certain purple pigments in them. That's a lot of P's, my goodness. Sometimes those purple pigments can tend to bleed once you've applied top coat to it. And that's why you can probably see that the way it looks in the bottle is slightly different than how it is on the nail once I put on top coat. But in my case, I actually prefer, I tend to prefer the way that purple polishes look on me after they have bled because of the top coat. So I'm not mad at it. But also I have, many of you may have heard of the DRK seal glaze product that's intended to prevent this from occurring. I've ordered that and it's on the way here. So once that's arrived, that'll be a very comprehensive video review that I'm going to do to show, does it work? How does it work? All kinds of things like that. I also recently, from Cracked, I purchased their neutralizer, which is part of their necessities line. This is something that's intended to help neutralize any kind of yellow staining that you might have on your nails, because if you may recall from my color theory video, purple and yellow are on opposite sides of the color wheel. And so if you have yellow staining on your nails, but then you put something like this kind of purple neutralizing base over top of that, it helps to cancel out that yellow staining and not make it so that the yellow staining comes through onto, it comes through with whatever you put on top of it. So for example, if you have some yellow staining on your nails, but then you put a blue jelly on top of it, don't be surprised if it looks like a green jelly, and so what this can do, even if you don't have staining on your nails, it can also help to be a sort of blurring base coat. So for this kind of polish that tends to be on the more sheer side, not super sheer like some of the bee's knees polishes, if you know what I mean, but without a kind of blurring base like this, it would take me about 3 coats of Quills to be built up to this level of opacity. Whereas with using just, I put on my regular base coat, then put neutralizer on top of that, and then only needed 2 coats of Quills to get to this level of opacity. So I'm very happy with neutralizer. This is another product I'm going to be doing a review of at some point, because I really have enjoyed the experience I've had using this. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy Crack's sticky base coat or their top coat. I no longer have those, so I can't review those, but stay tuned for a review of neutralizer in case that is a product that you were wondering about. Okay, let's get into our magnetics. So as always, I'm swatching these over a white and a black cream. The white that I use is Crack's Crinkled Linens, and the black that I use is Bee's Knees Lacquer Void. Now, because I have these as like a white black split, I've also put top coat over the white and black swatches just to prevent any streaking or smudging that can often happen from the black side over to the white. Okay, first up is Fancy Gloss's Silver Magnetic Top Coat. Now, so you can see it says top coat, right? I will just say, I'll try to only say this once because this is one of my like pet peeves when it comes to the way that certain nail polishes are named. I would have personally called all of these like silver magnetic toppers and not so much top coats, because I do feel that it's a best practice to still follow these up with your regular top coat in order to make your manicure last as long as possible. Okay, but with that being said, let me show you how this looks. You know, if you put a magnet to it, it's very responsive. Here is how it looks when it is done in the velvet effect. So you can see it does some really nice shifting like that. And let's go ahead and swatch this over white and black. So many magnetics today. Yeah, I almost thought about doing magnetics for my manicure, but I was like, yo, that's gonna be a lot of magnetizing today. And I was like, what kind of polish can I wear instead that will still give me like this kind of nice spacey look? Like if you see my outfit in the intro, you'll see I've got like this purple and blue space vibe going on today. And yeah, something like quills was a lot better for me than doing more magnetizing on my own fingers today. Okay, so that is like so barely there, and in a good way though. Like I mean that as a compliment. Like y'all will see as I build this up and these other some of the other options that do not work nearly as well over white as we got over black. And interesting that like even with me having put top coat on this, and I swear y'all, I swatched out these white and black swatches like an hour and a half ago, and yeah, no matter what I do, the black streaking will always happen, so I'm just getting used to it by now. But back to the matter at hand. This is exactly what I think you want when you have a silver magnetic topper. It looks gorgeous over black, and you can even kind of get away with that over lighter colors too. So you know, I thought about what kind of colors I would most likely want to use a silver magnetic topper with. And if any of you can recall the Mooncat Star Wars collab that they had, I think was it sometime last year or the year before, they had a red and silver one. By the way, this is cracked polished Calabrian pepper for this one. They had a red and silver magnetic in there, but it just wasn't like what I know I was hoping for. I know a lot of other people were disappointed by it as well. It was a little bit on the more like dull side, I would say. Like I technically still have mine, but I could not tell you the last time that I've worn it. This right here is something that I was hoping that we would have gotten from that Lord Vader polish. I mean, you can see that silver line so clearly, but you don't see any kind of like dark residue around this whatsoever. This, when you're using like a magnetic topper, but especially like a silver one, this is just impeccable in my opinion. Going on to our darker red option, we've got cracked red, and I'm just using these to just kind of show you how like the Fancy Gloss silver magnetic topper, in my opinion, works well over both lighter and darker colors. Like I just love how it looks over both of these. Okay. And so I'll just kind of talk through this a bit. The way that I typically work with magnetics is that I will magnetize for 60 seconds. And then after that, I will go in with the DRK Magic Effect that is used to give a more crisp magnetic line. But what you've got here so far is just the initial magnetizing. I do recommend the DRK Magic Effect if you are doing a lot of work with magnetic polishes, just because it will help to tighten up this magnetic effect considerably. So I highly recommend the silver magnetic topper from Fancy Gloss. This one, as you can see, works well over all shades here. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do before I go on to our next one, I just wanna, it's been a while since I've done a full like demo of how I personally use the DRK Magic Effect. So, and I also know that the instructions that are out there from the maker are actually different than the way that I personally prefer to use this product. I just kind of do my own thing. So I believe the official instructions state to like apply a few drops on it, and to not like if you're building up multiple coats of a magnetic polish as opposed to just like a magnetic topper like we've got here, they say you only need to magnetize the last coat of it. For me personally, I like magnetize first without it and then go back in with DRK Magic Effect and magnetize again, and then also I'll magnetize one final time when I put top coat on. So what I've done here is I've put on the magnetic topper, magnetized that. Now I'm gonna go in with the DRK Magic Effect, and the way that I do it is I completely saturate the nail. Like if this were my actual nail, y'all, that sometimes this would be dripping, not really, like, but I'm just very generous with it is what I'm saying. And don't be afraid to put it on here and then clean up what you need afterwards. And so then I'll go back in, and in this case I will keep my magnet here for that minute that I would do this for. And so as I'm magnetizing this, I'll say, like I mentioned, I am planning on doing a review video of the Seal Glaze product. I'm gonna do that also in conjunction with Magic Effect, which I've been using for a very long time now and have nothing but positive things to say about it. But I'm gonna do some testing to see like how well will a magnetic effect hold up with and without Magic Effect, with and without Seal Glaze. There's going to be a lot of comparisons in there, so be on the lookout for that once I've received Seal Glaze in the mail. Okay, hopefully you can see the difference here. So left and right have not had Magic Effect applied. The middle one has. I mean, you know, if you're someone who prefers a more diffused look, you know, then that's a valid way to wear magnetics as well. But I personally prefer the more crisp line that we get here from that. So I am gonna go ahead and magnetize these other ones, then put on top coat for all of these, magnetize again, and then we'll take a look at these in different lighting. See, this is why I said I needed to wait for a certain day to film this video, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing off camera, but I just started watching Outlander, so yeah, I've got a good show in the background. I'm chilling. Let's go ahead and see these in some other lighting.
Hi, editing Olivia here. Hello from London, actually. I'm here on a quick weekend holiday, as they say here. I wanted to give a brief detail about the swatches that are filmed in the other lighting. So I had a really busy last week and wasn't able to film those shots until a few days after I had filmed the initial sit down and swatch out, magnetize and everything. So what you're going to see is that the magnetic lines have dispersed a bit from when I actually went and put on the magnetic effect, top coat, all of that. So I didn't want there to be that question of like, what's going on here? So there's that. And also, since I'm traveling, I'll give a preview of one of the videos that I'm planning to film coming up is going to be about how I travel with nail polish. It's one I've been wanting to film for a while now, and because I know there's always questions about that in like nail polish forums. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, let's get back to the swatching and I'll get back to drinking some tea. Cheers.
Next is the pink magnetic topper. I'm just gonna call them toppers. I love this one. I love putting pink on just about anything. That would actually work really well over, okay. I am not gonna do my nails more than I already have done today, but do you see the vision there? Like this would totally work as a great combination. Here is how the pink magnetic topper looks in the velvet style over black. And now let's take a look at it over white and black in the cat eye style. Okay. So you can see already that this one looks a little bit more gritty when we paint it on compared to silver. So let's see how it goes when we magnetize. I also, y'all, I have like cross-contamination sometimes. Do you see like that random green piece of glitter down there? I don't know where that came from. I don't know. I just have glitter all over the place. It's just part of the Olivia experience, I guess. Okay, just a little bit more. I really hope that this shows up on the video in the way that I am seeing it with my eye, but like especially over black, this just glows. Like the best way I can describe this is that like you see that there's a pink magnetic stripe there, right? But then it's just like boom, it's just glowing at you. I just love it. Now going on to the white side, let's just kind of compare here, right? So here's how silver looked over white, like not completely transparent, but passable, I would say. Do you see there? It's this is I'm just gonna say I love these toppers over darker colors. I do not recommend using the majority of these over lighter colors, but as I was preparing for this video and trying to think of what kind of combinations I wanted to use, one of the things I found that was a really interesting observation was how well these fancy gloss magnetic toppers work over shimmer polishes. And I think that, and you'll see this once I put this on our next one here, this kind of grittiness that is present here that you can see like over white, I think because of the visual texture that you get with shimmer polishes, that kind of swallows up the presence of that kind of grittiness in a way that makes it so that it doesn't really stand out as much, if at all. So what we've got here is Lynn B Designs Jeff's Inn by the Sea, which is like a greenish blue teal shimmer polish that I've built up here in 3 coats. Also, from this point on, you'll see that the colors that I've chosen to pair with these magnetic toppers, I've chosen one that's like a matchy color. So like we've got a pink magnetic topper that I'm soon going to be putting over like a pink magenta base color over here in just a moment. But then I've also chosen complementary colors because of color theory. So in this case, I've chosen pink being across the color wheel from like green. And I want to show you how well that pairs together. So here we go. I'll also say if any of you are in the Alpha Kappa Alpha, aka sorority, you probably really love you some pink and green. My mom was in the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, so her colors were red and white, but whenever I see pink and green, I still think of her because of that connection to like historically black sororities. Okay, just gonna magnetize this for a moment here. Voila, like, okay, let's just talk about this because this is real cute. Okay, so if you were to really zoom in on this, like I'm sorry, I'm gonna zoom uncomfortably close for a moment here. If you really wanted to take a close-up look at this, you could, in theory, see the like the I wish I could think of a better word than residue. Particles, there we go. The particles that are on either side of that magnetic line on the top and bottom. However, because of what I mentioned about how we're putting this on top of a shimmer polish, it just blends in so well to the point where you're not even focusing on that. You're really just like, oh, okay, this is just like shiny pink over shiny green. Cool. So if you are looking for a really good quick win way to use these fancy gloss magnetic toppers, I promise you, pull out polishes from your collection that are shimmer toppers and you will be having yourself a great old time. Now, if you want to take it a step further and do something that's even more elevated, and let's say you don't have a whole lot of shimmers in your collection, but you do have creams and you do have some flake toppers, here's how you can combine them. So for this next one, I'm using Essie's upside down, nailed it, as a like magenta, dark magenta cream polish. And on top of that, I've put a coat of this iridescent flake topper from Spectrum Cosmetics called Amok Amok Amok. It's like got colors of purple, blue, green. I basically like to refer to this one as like Avatar's Pandora in a bottle, like, you know, when they go into the Navi world and everything's glowing. It's this basically. So I've put that here, and now I want to show you how this can also work when you do this kind of layering. So let's put the pink magnetic on top of that. And you know, when you're choosing like a cream base to pair any of these toppers with, you definitely want to think about color contrast in the sense of like, you know, definitely err on the darker side of choosing your polishes. In this case, darker works better for your base color. But then in addition to that, you don't want it to be the case where you choose a base color that's going to be the exact same shade as your magnetic topper. So when you have a sufficient amount of color contrast, you're able to end up with a result like what you've got here. So this is something that gives this like I have a separate video, I think one of the first videos on my channel that I filmed, and about this what I call the magnetic pond effect, where you now it feels like you're looking into this like jelly aquarium of glow. Sorry, words are hard right now when I'm just distracted by shiny nail polish stuff. But you know, this here, I just love this because it just goes to show you how you really do not need to have a whole lot of like fancy, complex nail polishes in your collection in order to get a result that looks like this. So, some of the times when I've gotten the most compliments on my nails have been when I've used like a cream, a topper, and a magnetic, like a cream, a flake topper, and a magnetic topper, and just put them together like this. I think when you go through trial and error and figure out which kind of colors work best together, that's when you're able to get these kinds of results. So same thing as before with top coat, Magic Effect before that, beforehand. How did I just, okay, sorry, I need to stop flailing my fingers around, because do y'all see what I just did there? I literally just took a chunk out of that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna try to patch that up and see what top coat does, but let's take a look at some other lighting. Next is the brass magnetic topper. I'm just looking at this and thinking, like, if I had like a fancy Oscars party or something to go to, this is totally what I would wear in some shape or form. Here is how this looks when it's done in the velvet style over black. And now we'll take a look at it over white and black. Okay. This is one I haven't really worn a lot, but as I was planning this video, I'm like, why have I not worn this more often, especially over black? It just looks so stunning. All right, here we go. Okay, so as this is magnetizing, you can see that the presence of the, you know, what I guess I'll call the background particles is increasingly present on the white side of this, to the point where it is, you know, let's actually compare this to, say, this swatch over here. This is like where we started. So if you want to see just how much this is dark in this is where we started and this is where we are now. And I don't think we really had that much of a darkening that happened over here with the silver one. You know, it seems to be progressing. So once again, I don't recommend this one over lighter colors, like especially like white or pastels, but over black, ooh, just wow, 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 wow. Okay, so going on to seeing how it looks over other colors. Yellow is across the color wheel from purple as its complementary color. So what I've got here for our purple shimmer is Zoya's Billy that I've put down in 2 coats so far. This first option is going to be very similar to what I had for our pink magnetic topper, where if you're looking for a more simple and quick and easy, not easy, but like quick and, you know, quick and quick, I guess I'll say, option to use this in a way where you don't have to do as much layering, this could be a good option to try. Now, you want to test this out a bit though over different purples that you might have in your collection with this, because keep in mind, like I showed with the white example just over on the side, how it does make it darker. So you're going to want to choose a polish that you don't mind having it go down a few notches in darkness. In this case, I think it still looks pretty good, especially like once I put the magic effect on afterwards. That should tighten it up even more and allow more of that purple to come through here. Now, another option for layering with like a cream and a flake. For this one, I am starting with Essie's Buzzworthy Bash. Buzz. I'm sorry, hold up. Okay, first of all, I did not expect that I was gonna do a sound effect until I was like in the middle of doing it. And then also, what kind of bee makes that sound like that? Like, buzz. I'm extra silly today. Who am I kidding? I'm always like this. And then on top of this, I put Hollow Taco's Black Flake Taco. And if you happen to watch my recent video where I compared this to Crack Polish's Mascara Flakes, do know that this is, I did the kind of like light brushing technique that I showed in that video where I kind of like tried to space things out a bit. I'll put a link to that video in the description in case any of you missed it and want to check it out. So this is one where, you know, if you take a look at the color difference between the brass magnetic topper and Buzzworthy Bash, you know, again, make sure that when you're choosing colors to pair together, that they are not exactly the same color, because you do want something that works well together, but you don't want it to be so matchy-matchy that you're not going to be able to see any kind of color contrast when you add in the magnetic topper. This one, oh, I just love this combination that comes as a result of this. Check this out. Okay. And so already you can see that this yellow in the background, the Buzzworthy Bash, has darkened. So this was one, it took me a number of tries with various options throughout the creams in my collection until I found one where I was going to be okay with the result of something of like, okay, it's fine with it being darker. I still get the result that I want. Yo, just like, this is okay. So like, it wouldn't be an Olivia video if I didn't say that something was going to the club, right? So in case you're new here, often on my channel, when there are times when I'm doing nail art or showing nail polish combinations, and I'm like, when something is sparkly, I'll be like, oh, that looks like an avocado that's going to a club, or that's totally a potato that's going to the club. Y'all, this is a bumblebee that is going to the club. Like, the bee just buzzed right on into the club and was like, buzz, buzz, buzz. Like, I love this. And if you compare where we started with Buzzworthy Bash on its own, and you see that adding the brass magnetic topper does bump it down in darkness just a bit, but in a way that it still works. So I had a lot of fun just kind of playing with some options here and trying things out. And like, I don't often wear yellow nail polish, but like, I could absolutely see myself wearing this. I was about to say, like, next time I go like to a bee farm or something, I don't just go to places where bees hang out, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. But like, the next time I'm out in nature somewhere and I want to feel like I'm one with the bees, this could be a really good option, I think. So let's take a look in some other lighting. Next is the green magnetic topper. This one just, oh, okay. You know how I was saying earlier that the pink one just glows? Y'all, this is like, if you want to feel like you have fallen into the Matrix. And this one is just so bright and glowy. Like, I just cannot really describe how much I love this one. I think part of it is that I just love green nail polish in general. So glowy green, oh yeah. But let's see how it looks over white as well, and you'll hopefully understand more about what I've been saying, where not every one of these is going to work well over lighter colors. Okay. So yeah, I think this one might be getting even darker potentially than what we had with the brass one. It's not good over white, we'll just say that right now. But over black though, just, yeah, we're gonna pretend that side isn't happening, but this one is just so gorgeous and glowy. I just love it. So as far as some other examples of how you can use this, for green kind of being across the color wheel from like pink, magenta, I've got it almost looks purple here, but like, I think it's like a magenta. We're getting close there. This is Royal Lee Vespertine. I've built this up in 3 coats here, and let's see how this looks when we put the green magnetic topper over this. Also, this my mind is going to like Barney the dinosaur, you know how he was like magenta and green, and I'm just gonna call it now, this is if Barney was going to the club. What am I even, y'all? Okay, so the visual of Barney in the club might not be it, but this, now if you take a closer look at this, especially on like the upper right corner of this swatch, that's where you might be able to see a bit of that like residue that's there. I'm just gonna say that word. But do you notice how when you wiggle the swatch, when I'm wiggling the swatch back and forth, you can almost see like little speckles of green light up and turn off like little fireflies in the sky? It is just stunning. I this is why I love this green one. Love it. Now, as far as another layering option, going with like a cream with a flaky topper, the pattern we've been doing so far. The dark green cream that I'm using is from Cracked Black Jade. And then on top of it, I have put this like orangish iridescent flake topper from Spectrum Cosmetics, Firefly from Hell. So once again, you want to make sure that the colors you're using here are going to go well together, but they're not 100% matchy-matchy. So let's put the green one over this combo. And I am so sorry for giving you all that visual of Barney being in the club. I'm like, if I have to picture these things, you know what? Sharing is caring, or scaring in some cases. Okay, while this is magnetizing, I want you to take a look at what we can see so far around like the top part. It does look to be the case that we are able to get a good amount of transparency into what's going on underneath. And then boom, just like I love this combination here, because why this works in my opinion is that you've got a really dark green, and then you have these, like, you know, the speckles that come from the iridescent flakes, they're orange, and then on top of that you just have this like lightning bolt electric green shock of magnetic light going across that in just the most fantastic way. This could be a really good layering combination to do for something like St. Patrick's Day coming up, for example. So hopefully from what we've been seeing so far, you're getting some more ideas of how you can pair these types of polishes together. I swear, like, once I got into the practice of experimenting with layering, I feel like I can no longer say to myself, oh, I have nothing to wear. I'm like, girl, you got a lot that you can pair together. Like, just experiment, see what you can come up with, and have some fun with it. Next is the light blue magnetic top coat, or topper. And here is how it looks in the velvet style. You can see it's got this nice, like, I mean, it's light blue. It's got like an aqua kind of vibe to it. Very electric, very glowy. And let's see how it looks over white and black in the cat eye style. Hopefully you all are understanding by now, like, why exactly I decided to split this from the other, like, part 2 that I'm planning for the more fine particle magnetic toppers that Fancy Gloss has. I mean, it's just, it would be way too much to do in a single video, but I am enjoying all of this. So this one is, I think, of all the ones that we've done so far, I know I keep saying this, but like, don't put this over lighter colors like white. It's just not going to give you the kind of end result that you're most likely looking for. You know, that's a big part of why I love doing these videos, because I often see things like Reddit posts where people ask questions about various toppers, and they were expecting to have something like a more transparent end result, but look at that, and compare it to the white over here. This is it looks stunning over black though, right? But just don't put it over lighter colors. Now, I ended up putting these in the wrong order, like, compared to what I've been doing up to this point. So we're gonna jump to this one first for our shimmer. Now, blue and orange are on opposite ends of the color wheel as complementary colors. This is technically brown, but like, it kind of glows orange, so that's the vision there. This polish is Holo Taco's Inkwell in 3 coats, and I absolutely love this combination here. It is, you know, once again, if you haven't already watched my video on color theory, please do check it out. Linked in the comments or linked in the description of this video, because once you start to really wrap your head around color theory and how that works, it can really open your eyes to all the amazing things that you can do with it as it relates to nail polish and color choices. Now, keep in mind that as we've seen for other toppers that we've been looking at in this video, this one is also going to darken that base color somewhat. But here, it's okay. I think that As I compare just inkwell just out of the bottle to this, you see the difference there. It does darken it by putting the light blue magnetic topper over it, but I think especially once I show you this in some other lighting, you'll see how you can still pick up on those brownish orangish undertones in other lighting. Now going on to our blue cream that we're using. This is Bee's Knees Lacquer Undead from the Nosferatu collection. Y'all had to have known I was going to do that. And just a side-by-side comparison here. Same advice applies where you don't want to have something matchy-matchy, something that instead you want it to have some kind of color contrast. As a topper over Undead, I have put cracked polishes, a sprinkle of twinkle, and I really love the end result here, just even by itself. Like, this just looks really cute as like a nice winter manicure. But let's see how this goes if I take it to the next level and put the light blue magnetic topper over it. Okay. All right. So, same thing applies as before. It's gonna get a little darker. That's okay. But in this case, and I think especially once I go through and put the DRK Magic Effect on this, it's going to give an end result that is still like, it's almost, in this case, what surprised me when I did this and what I'm seeing again here now is that the light blue overlay has really helped to give a little bit more blue intensity to Undead that wasn't there before. So you can see how with Undead on its own in the bottle, it's more of like slate blue, like a grayish blue. But then this is one of the times where I feel that the background overlay from the magnetic topper is actually working with the base color as opposed to working against it. So yeah, I really do love this light blue topper. Just you need to figure out what it's going to work best with. Lighter colors, nah, but darker ones, and especially if you can figure out like good pairings for it, absolutely love it. Okay, we got one more. Hang in there with me. The final topper for this video is the Indigo magnetic topper. Here is a quick look at how it is in the velvet style. And in particular, I wanted to do a comparison between the Indigo magnetic topper and the light blue one that we just did, just in case any of you are, looking at these and trying to figure out like which blue you might be more drawn to. And I would say they're not super close in color, but I still want to show them kind of side by side, more or less, so that you can still get a good sense of like how they compare to one another, and also for the Indigo one, seeing how it kind of leans, like the balance that it has between being purple and blue, or blurple as it were. So let's load this one up here for our black and white swatch. Okay, I'm actually kind of surprised that the over white, which, again, I'm not recommending, but just as a point of comparison, I'm not seeing as much like particle, actually, no, I take that back. Nope, I just couldn't see it. Okay, scratch what I said. I was about to say I don't really see the like dustiness as much, but nope, it is there. I do just love that shock of like blue though. This is one that I tend to wear for times when I'm feeling that I want a topper that is more like a deeper blue. Unfortunately, I don't think, I'm trying to think across my other brands, do I have like just a like a cobalt blue magnetic topper? Not that I can think of. I think I do have some magnetic polishes that are more cobalt blue that might be sheer enough that I can sort of more or less use them as toppers. But I this is the one I reach for when I'm just like, I want like a deeper blue and not so much like this electric one. Now, in order to compare these again across these two, I'm using the same base colors that I did for the light blue one. So we've got Bee's Knees Lacquer, Undead, topped with cracked polishes, a sprinkle of twinkle. And then our other one is going to be Hollow Tacos Inkwell. So let's do it over this one first and see. So fun fact, I am actually filming this this swatch for Indigo on the following day. I started filming this yesterday, just before my husband and I were about to go out for a date night, and we went out to like a comedy show. Had a great time, but got home pretty late after that. And I am not a night owl by any means, so like going out for a comedy show for me, I was already out like at what felt like past my bedtime. So I'm like, oh, I'll finish this tomorrow. And so I'm glad I did. I'm more awake and alert now. Yeah, I really like this pairing here. It's fascinating to see how both the light blue magnetic topper and the indigo magnetic topper seem to work both really well in different ways over Undead. The same kind of thing that I was mentioning for the light blue option, where it gives this really nice glow over the base. So what you're seeing here over the white, which over the white is kind of like, I don't really want that on my nails. I actually do like what that does over here, and like here as well. It gives you just this nice blue kind of glow. Now, I will say, as I'm putting this over Inkwell, that a tip for when you're working with magnetic toppers, like in your actual manicure, you want to make sure to really be careful about how you are applying it. And by that I mean ensuring that you cover your entire nail. In just a moment, I'm going to show you, I'm going to zoom in a bit on, I think, one of the light blue magnetic ones to show you what I'm talking about there. But this is great. I'm really happy with this. It just real quick, what I meant was, like, if you take a look and you see like here that gapping between like how the light blue topper isn't going all the way down there, and you kind of see some of the brown polish underneath peeking out. That is something that for a lot of toppers, you're never really going to need to be mindful of that. But in a case like this, where you've got, and I'm seeing it a little bit over here too, how there's just a little bit of a peekaboo under there. When you are working with magnetic toppers that do tend to give you this overall like perimeter there, you want to make sure that when you're putting this on your nail, that you just keep an eye out for that, because otherwise it will most likely be a little bit more visible than you would like it to be. So yeah, I hope that these swatches here have helped you to get a sense of like how to use these, and also if you were thinking of shopping with fancy gloss for any of these, in particular the light blue and the indigo. This is like, I mean, the light blue way more electric, and the indigo more of like deep and like dark and moody. But personally, I'm glad that I have both in my collection. So let's take a look at these in some other lighting and then get wrapped up. Yeah, so with the indigo one, I know that I mentioned that I was filming that one on the next day, which I'm also doing now. And it also just so happens that I got back just now from a hair appointment. So that is why my hair looks different than it did in the intro. It is still red, though it looks more brown on camera here, but yeah, sometimes it doesn't become its full like fiery red until like I've added some more touch-up color into it and everything. But yay for hair. Anyway, I hope that this video helped you all to get a sense of fancy glosses, magnetic toppers. Like I said in the beginning, I also will be filming a part 2 at some point on their more like finer particle magnetics, so be on the lookout for that one. I'd be curious to hear from any of you who also have some of these fancy gloss magnetic toppers in your collection. Like, which colors do you tend to gravitate towards the most? Are there any color combinations within that you'd recommend that other people try? Please let me know. As always, thank y'all so much for being here and watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.